Hey, it's Adewale here from StressTherapist.net, and today you're going to learn how to overcome your worry problems using two simple but very powerful tools. And it's a little bit more counterintuitive than most people realize. You see, when it comes to managing worries, the two most important keys to always remember is that every single worry you have is important, no matter how small, minute, or silly it seems. And the second key is that when you struggle with that inability to stop your worries, it's crucial to stop worrying just in your head. You've got to worry somewhere else. You've got to worry with pen and paper. And I'll explain what I mean by that, because it's about writing things down. So why is it important to write down your worries rather than just try to deal with things in your head? It's because we will tend to fall into certain traps. And one of the very big traps is the tendency when you're worrying to just find that your worry branches in all directions and just creates all these offshoots of tiny worries. I don't know if you've ever had a friend who is very hard to keep on a straight line of conversation. That person, that friend who you have something burning that you want to say to them. And as you approaching this friend, talking to this friend, and the friend starts to answer your question or give the impression that they're listening, but then they take what you're saying and go a completely different direction. And you become so certain that they haven't heard anything you said. And then maybe you get caught up by the different direction you went, and then you try to kind of talk to them about that. They go to a different direction, and it's almost like they're just going in all so many different directions. This is the same thing that happens when you just deal with your worries in your head and not on paper. And why is that important? So in your head, you become that other person you're having a conversation with, who is going around in different directions. And when you think about it, when you're in front of that friend who does that, you get frustrated, you get irritated, and really the conversation goes nowhere. And a conversation that should have taken just maybe 5 minutes to get over with, you're still there maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, still having a conversation, and you haven't really gotten anywhere because this friend just keeps going in a different direction. That's what happens when we try to just worry in our head, especially when we struggle with anxiety difficulty. This is why it's so important to write your worries down. And when you do this, you start to find that you have much more space in your head to do other things, and you feel less irritated, and you are not snapping at everybody again. Going back to the first key I mentioned, that helps you to manage your worries better. If you recall, I said that no worry, no matter how small or minute it is every worry is important, no matter how small it is. So as an example, let's imagine that something you like doing every morning is that you lay your bed and you like to lay it very nicely and put your pajamas on the bed so it's ready for you when you come to bed at night. Now this becomes your worry, because in your mind you start thinking, did I do it? Did I remember to do it? This will seem so flimsy because you might be getting frustrated with yourself thinking, why am I worrying about just pajamas? In the grand scheme of things, this doesn't matter. And yes, you're right. In the grand scheme of things, forgetting to put your pajamas on your bed is not going to kill anybody. It's not going to destroy the world. However, it's on your mind. And because it's on your mind is going to still take it and try to have that internal dialogue around it and still kind of use that to get you stressed. And so it's important to take into consideration that, okay, it's not something to just take lightly. It's something to still just work on. Because let's say you then get pen and paper and you wrote it down and worrying about the, pajamas on my bed, right? Now you're starting to be logical about it. You start to see clearly, actually, it's not an issue. And then that will naturally then make you feel more relaxed. And then you can park it aside. Where you would have spent maybe a whole 15, 30 minutes thinking about the pajamas on the bed, this would have just taken like 3 minutes. So why is it important? It's important because if you don't deal with it, that seemingly minute worry is going to overwhelm you and steal all your time away. And the problem is that that's just one of the worries. Most likely you will have maybe 20, 30, 40 different tiny little worries like that. And by the time they've all now compounded together, what's happening to you? You're overwhelmed, stressed, and frustrated with the world. So this is why there's power in actually writing things down so you can engage your logical brain and give your emotional brain a break. So those are the two powerful tools for managing worries. And I hope I've convinced you about writing your worries down on paper, as well as stopping this self-blaming game of telling yourself off for what you consider to be minute worries. But now, when you have actually got your worries down on paper, what do you do with them? If this is something you're struggling with, there's a free article on my website, which you can just go there and just work through the different skill sets for managing worries. You'll find everything you need for dealing with worries in that article. So if you're interested, just go to stresstherapist.net/worry management. So stresstherapist.net/worry management.